time with family, staying active, doing what you love. We understand how important it is to live your best life, even as times are changing. At Holzer, we strive to help every patient achieve their best health during every stage of life. With more options for care through in-person and virtual visits, we are dedicated to providing you with excellent care every time. Live your best life with Holzer.
Hello and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. Josh Wellington, your Executive Director of the Gallia County Chamber of Commerce, and I am joined by Rick Jackson and Nick Roach from the Wiseman Agency. Guys, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
So, the Wiseman Agency is, it's a name that is historic in Gallipolis. Talk a little bit about how the Wiseman Agency got started. How long has it been here, and kind of how has it changed along the way?
Well, we started in 1928 with my great-grandfather, Ernest Wiseman. Used to be Wiseman Wickline at the time, but saw a need and started the business. It's grown and gone through ebbs and flows over the years to where we are now, and I'm a part of the fourth generation to join the agency, and we take great pride in the fact that it is a family agency, but it's one of those that coming up here close to 100 years in the next couple of years, but we have just tried to maintain a level of there's a passion for the community, and I think from the get-go that has been there, and been what's allowed us to stay around for so long.
Mm-hmm. And you're the fourth generation. Mm-hmm. How you came into the business is a little bit different than Rick, how you came into it. So if you guys can kind of talk about how you came in, and then Rick, again, how you kind of found your way into the insurance world.
Really, for me, I'm the unusual case in the insurance industry. The business tends to grab people that have decided they don't want to do something else, and there's an opportunity in the insurance industry, whereas having grown up in the family and been around it a lot, it was something I always had a desire to do. I saw what a great livelihood it can be, but not only that, the opportunity it provides to give back to the community, to support your family, and just do good by people. And so for me, it was right out of high school, went to Ohio State, got a business degree with a focus in insurance, and before I'd even graduated, had come back and got to work. But again, that's somewhat the abnormal or the unusual path to get into the business.
And Rick, you kind of came in a different direction.
Yeah. Well, insurance is a unique opportunity to serve your community. And I remember growing up and seeing the Wiseman Agency at the fair, buying animals. It seemed like growing up, I always remember hearing the Wiseman Agency coming across the microphone. And so that was kind of in the back of my mind. But yeah, I had definitely a different path than Nick. But I went to Marshall University to study environmental science. And so I got a degree in environmental science, worked for a large recycling company, always enjoyed interacting with people, definitely enjoyed, sales and solving problems and this and that, and then kind of had the unique chance to join the agency probably, going on 4 years ago now, and which I'm married to Maggie, Nick's sister. And I think Gary just listened. I think Gary and Nick probably just heard me just talking nonstop at all corners to random people, and they eventually just said, "Hey, you want to join the team?" So, that's how I got here. But it's been a lot of fun, and I particularly enjoy the getting out and meeting people. I get to see a lot of different types of businesses in the area, and I get to meet some interesting characters. So. It's been great.
So in the last almost 100 years, so when the agency started, was it primarily just insurance back then? So just your local insurance provider agency, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of everything. Wiseman Real Estate, we used to be one and the same, and as the business has grown and things expanded, and it just became clear that it was more than any one person or a couple of people could handle. And so, a couple of generations ago, we kind of split things and, allowed us to focus on the insurance and Dave and others to handle the real estate side of things. But, back in the day, it was more of a, people were really just looking to protect themselves from fire.
Right.
And as the landscape changes, the environment changes, here we are today, and cyber coverage is one of the biggest things that we talk to people about. So, it's really, insurance is one of those core principles that has existed in communities, for centuries. But it's an ever-changing landscape, and constantly evaluating, the risks that are there. And, we've just done that over the years to try and provide a little bit of peace of mind to the folks that decide to do business with us.
And that's kind of where I was going is, it used to be, at least what I can remember, is you had an Allstate agent, you had a State Farm agent, and so whatever carrier you went with, you went to that agent and they dealt with that insurance. Mm-hmm. Whereas now you guys serve a large number of insurance providers, so people have the ability to come to you and you can do the homework and find the best scenario for that client and then get them with the right company or coverage that they might need.
Yeah, and so we're an independent agent, so we represent X number of carriers. And one thing that is kind of special about the Wiseman Agency is we're locally owned, fourth generation. With that being said, we're also part of a national insurance organization called Keystone, which gives us and our clients a pretty big advantage in the insurance market, because we don't just have one carrier that we're looking at. We can take it nationally to a huge Rolodex of carriers and try to find the coverage that's most appropriate for the client. So that's definitely an advantage I think we've been bringing to the area here the last several years, really, since 2008.
And you touched, Nick, on the now cyber insurance, and you have insurance now that people a lot of times I think don't realize they may need. For example, I didn't realize when I took this position that we have insurance that covers our board of directors, so that if the organization were to do something that brought along a claim, mm-hmm. it protects those who govern the organization. And so I don't think a lot of organizations maybe even know about that kind of thing. But what are just some areas that you guys have seen where things have changed the most, let's say in the last 4 or 5 years?
Sure. Well, I think there's a lot to that. Insurance is one of those things that most people view as something they have to have, and with that comes insurance for your home, insurance for your car, those necessities. But a lot of people, unless you're a business owner or you have other assets and things that you're looking to protect, maybe you're not aware of the various other lines of coverage that we can offer. And just like you touched on, everything from directors and officers coverage for a board to medical malpractice. We offer health plans for business owners to provide to their employees. We view ourselves as not just an insurance agent, but a risk advisor, somebody that can sit down with you and really learn your business, what you are doing, the ins and outs, and talk to you to figure out and find what risks you may face in your day-to-day, so that we can provide solutions for if something happens. And I mean, everything from, if you have a fire and you can't be open for 6 months while you rebuild, there's business interruption coverage or business income coverage there to help you in that. Mm-hmm. There's cyber coverage. In today's day and age, if you click on the wrong email link, you could find yourself in a really bad situation. we're there to step in and help you when that happens. So, it's hard to condense into a short list or menu of services that we offer, but the best way to put it is we're the full gamut from personal to life insurance, health insurance, commercial insurance for your business, excess coverage, liability for, if something happens to you as an individual, you don't even have to be a business owner to have a real need for some liability protection if and when something were to happen. So really, if there's an exposure or a risk out there that could present potential loss to you, more likely than not, we've got a solution that can provide you a little bit of relief if something goes wrong.
And on top of insurance services, you guys also have an arm of financial services as well. Without kind of diving into that rabbit hole, you offer services for trusts and things like that to kind of protect your assets in the event that something does happen, can protect your family and things like that as well.
Yep, definitely something that we also offer. And Nick and I are on the insurance side of things, but yes, the Wiseman Agency does have financial services that we offer as well.
And I think having all of that in-house, if you can go to the same place and you set up your life insurance, and then you can also take care of all of the other stuff that comes with that inevitable situation that everybody has to face.
Yep.
From personal experience, I know that it makes it so much easier to have that taken care of ahead of time, and kind of know that when you're gone or whatever the case may be, that your family not only has the insurance coverage to cover the expenses that are going to come with that situation, but also the asset protection that you've worked your entire life for and don't want to see fall through their hands for just because you didn't plan accordingly.
Yep.
Both of you are very active in the community, a couple of different organizations. Rick, you sit on the board for the Chamber. You're also, I believe, on the board for the Visitors Bureau.
Yep.
Nick, you're involved with the DRP, or the Downtown Revitalization Project. Both organizations, of course, the Chamber, near and dear here, things that we're doing. But Rick, we'll start with you. Kind of what drew you? I know I served on the board with you, and I want to say that kind of our getting on the board was kind of the same. It was one of those mine at least was a voluntold kind of thing.
Right.
Hey, would you ever want to be on the board? And I said I would think about it. And the president at the time, Jenny Swain, said, well, we voted you on last night. And I said, well, okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of drew you first to, to be involved in, these type of organizations and what they're doing for the community?
Sure. Well, honestly, the Wiseman Agency is very focused on community support and any kind of local charity event. You're generally going to see somebody from the Wiseman Agency there, and I think if they see you sitting around at those long enough, someone's going to grab you by the shirt collar and ask you if you want to come to the next meeting. And I also was really growing some friendships with some people on the board, and so that's kind of how I got involved with the Chamber, and I've really enjoyed it. I particularly enjoy helping with the parade, the 4th of July parade. I remember going to that as a kid, and had all the events in the park, all that stuff. If you've seen the yellow fanny pack on 2nd Avenue, you
just wait.
Just look up about 2 feet, and you'll see me grinning.
If you've seen that yellow fanny pack, just wait.
Just wait. Yeah, just wait. Somewhere between the library and Duke's Cleaners, I'm usually up there with a walkie-talkie. But I just
Speaking of walkie-talkies, I think we have one less now.
Oh well, didn't think we were going to bring that up here, but
no. Rick is a tremendous help with the parade, and that's a thankless job for sure. I witnessed that 2 or 3 years ago. Just being the guy at the back, I witnessed just how intense parade planning and order can be. And my thought was always, nobody when they get to the park knows what order these people are supposed to be in anyway. You take it a lot more serious than that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you know what? The judges will figure it out. They've got signs on their trucks. Like everybody will. They're going to think that the twirlers are Red's Rolling Garage. But
Right.
but
Right.
y'all up on the other end, whether it's you guys at what is that, Spruce Street maybe, whatever that road is, and then Robbie all the way up at
GDC.
GDC.
Yeah.
Y'all are serious.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is just like everything else, it's broadcasted online.
Yep.
And they've got announcers somewhere else, and they want to know the order of everything, and then you've got people trying to sneak in off the side of the streets every year, which blows my mind, but it keeps it exciting. But anyway,
We have to get some stronger walkie-talkies.
yeah.
I don't
They were
think they
pointless
have,
last year.
I don't think they have the range to be able to talk to you from there. So
Yeah, I don't know
we'll
the
get
city
you-
laws exactly with fire. I thought about little.
We'll get with Sheriff
smoke
Champlin and
signal.
see if we can get some Marks radios or something.
There you go.
Yeah, we
There
can
you go.
coordinate our efforts.
Yeah.
And then you're also with the Visitors Bureau.
Yep.
And a lot of times people get confused as to our difference.
Yes.
What do we do at the Chamber as opposed to what Amanda and her great staff do down at the Visitors Bureau.
Yep.
I tell people they get them here, and we tell them where to shop when they get here.
There you go. Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and you're exactly right. The Visitors Bureau, their slogan, their kind of motto is "Get beds and heads." Nope, get heads and beds. There you go.
There you go.
And so they're going to just try to. They're the tourism wing, and they're going to try to bring folks into Gallia County. And exactly, the Chamber's going to point them in the right direction once they get here.
And Nick, you have just, I think,
Jeez,
began.
I really
I'm
jacked
telling
that
you,
up, man.
it's
We won't tell anybody. It's our
Okay.
secret.
Yeah.
All right.
We might be able to edit some of that out.
Sure.
But it may be more fun just to leave it in.
I truly don't care.
Nick, you have recently joined up with the DRP, and their kind of mission is to make the downtown area and the community in general as vibrant and as lively as possible. And you guys have a new program that you've recently taken to the city. It's very early, but other places like I know Athens has one, Marietta, Portsmouth, and that's called the Dora.
Right.
Talk a little bit about kind of what that is and why the DRP is so excited about maybe trying to get this into our area.
Sure. Well, I think you kind of touched on it when you first asked Rick. I mean, at its core, we just want to improve the community we live in, and DRP is, that is the ethos of the organization. It's all about bringing additional businesses, restaurants, whatever the case may be, to the downtown to provide more for the residents here in Gallia County. And we do that through economic donations and events and different things like that. And really the Dora opportunity, as we see it, is one more way to get folks out and about downtown. It's the Dora is a downtown outdoor refreshment area. Would allow folks to have an adult beverage and stroll the park or a designated area and go in and explore what we have to offer. And so there's several businesses currently downtown that we have helped, and it's not only the DRP's goal to bring new businesses in, but to help support those that are still here. And I think this is one of those ways that we can further try and promote those businesses, but also drive some foot traffic there. And for us, as you said, it's very early on. We've just started talking to the city about the possibility of this, but it's been wildly successful in a lot of other communities, and the business owners and folks that we've currently talked to in the downtown area seem very excited about it. So again, for us, it's one more way to try and get some folks into the businesses that our downtown has to offer. We've got a beautiful downtown area, and it's a little bit before my time, but I can remember the stories of the Saturday mornings on 2nd Avenue when everybody came downtown to shop at the small businesses. And with Amazon and some other large online organizations,
right.
Will we ever get back to that? Probably not, but I do think there is a bit of a resurgence in the small business focus and people wanting to do business with local business owners. And so that's just our goal, is to try and drive some economic growth there that can bring more people downtown, bring more businesses downtown, and really just help one another to as it's often put by Katie Ratliff on the DRP, we just want to love the place we live and try and make it a little bit better. So that's really our goal, and one of the main reasons I decided to join the DRP.
And I think that if you have something like a Dora, then you can piggyback other events off of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can have something in the park where maybe, there's a Dora event going on, on this date, so the chamber may look at, well, we're going to bring in a musical act, and we'll have, somebody in the park, or we can have a vendor fair, or we can have any number of things. I mean, you go to different parks throughout America and you see wiffle ball and you see kickball, and I mean, we have smaller.
Don't forget pickleball.
I don't know that you can play pickleball in the park, but it is up and coming.
Hey,
but
maybe one day.
But there's just so many activities and things that people can do and be a part of. You have. I lived in Columbus for a number of years, and in downtown Worthington they had the name of it escapes me, but it was like Art and Bark or something, and it was like an art show that encouraged you to bring your dog, and it was in the park, and they would walk around and that kind of thing, and it's just little things like that I think we haven't necessarily even utilized the park for for a long time. Mm-hmm. There used to be every Saturday morning there was a farmer's market, and people set up on the benches and sold tomatoes and cucumbers. And Rick, I know you have brought up the farmer's market from maybe something to look at down the road for us, or to help get back up and going. Anything that we can do to utilize the area that we have. I don't know of any other place that has a city block sized park right on the river. So many things that we can do. The Visitors Bureau does a great job with the things down at the boat ramp and the fishing tournaments, but we need some stuff for the people who already live here.
Well, even if you look at like Ritter Park in Huntington, they don't have businesses right next to it. Like we've got a great location for our park. We've got all these businesses right on the edge. Yeah, I totally agree.
I think too, certain events that we currently have, be it the Hoop Project or First Fridays, the River Rec Festival, it's somewhat been tested and proven that with a little extra incentive to bring people downtown, there's a huge benefit to those that have taken the risk to start a business and are paying rent and are trying to provide a service to the community. And again, Dora is one more vehicle to somewhat incentivize people to come and hang out downtown. And with the Gallia Police and Lights right now, there's probably not a better example of if there's something to draw people downtown, they're going to spend their money downtown, grab a drink, have dinner, perhaps stop in a shop and buy something. So that only helps improve our downtown area. And so, I think that's not only a goal of Rick and myself to try and find ways to give back and improve that, but I think, over the generations of the Wiseman Agency, that has been a core pillar of who we are and what we want to do. And, I had the great example of my dad and my Uncle Tom that, made that a major priority. And I think that's something that we both hold near and dear to our hearts and find to be incredibly valuable.
And I tell people a lot, there are times when people are involved, when they know people are going to notice. And then there are those who give back, whether the cameras are there or not.
Right. And
in discussing, what you guys do as an agency, your name's not always on the, on the shirt or on the news article, but as you said, somebody from the agency's more than likely there. And it's not about look what we're doing to give back. It's just being there. You're not going to see a lot of Wiseman Agency knickknacks, so to speak.
Right.
And not because you don't think it works or whatever. It's just, I think sometimes it's a recognition thing. And the people who are putting on these events do notice. But it's you don't do the giving back for the award, so to speak. And that's kind of the way I've always looked at how I want to be involved in things. You're not necessarily doing it for the recognition, but to make sure that something positive is happening. So we greatly appreciate everything that the Wiseman Agency does for our community. And, the last 2 years have been rough for everybody.
Yeah.
Have you seen any change in the way people look at whether it's life insurance or health coverage, with the things that are kind of going on in society at this point?
Sure. It's there's a lot of different ways we could go with that. I mean, I think, first off, there are a lot of changes, and we're seeing everything from a change in auto rates and the way auto coverage is provided, because we had a year of people not really being out and driving. We're seeing, there is a small uptick in the life insurance side of things, of people that are maybe recognizing and starting to think of, hey, what am I going to do if and when something were to happen? But there's a lot of other things in the current day and age that we live in, with natural disasters, the freeze in Texas from last year, from an insurance side of things, is going to cause more property loss and claim payouts than Katrina did. So it's definitely a crazy world that we live in today. With COVID and everything else going on, it provided people a lot of time to look at the policies they have and make sure they have the right coverages. And it's hard to say, hey, this is a direct result of COVID. I think it's still too early to tell with a lot of different things. I struggle to sit here and say, hey, the health insurance world is going to change in this regard because of COVID, but I can pretty much guarantee it's going to change in some aspect. So if anything, I think it's kind of a good example of how really, and maybe a lot of people don't know this, but in the insurance world, there's a lot of factors that go into that price and that coverage and how we get to that end policy. And it ebbs and flows with the world as things happen and change, and it's not your tangible product that is $19.99 and is maybe going to increase with inflation the tiniest bit over the course of time. And so, I mean, it's an ever-changing industry, which I think is part of what we both enjoy so much about it. But at the same time, it's hard to say how things are really going to change because of the last 2 years. But there's definitely a bit of that's going on currently.
Yeah, and we try to, as an agency, stay as informed as possible with anything related to the insurance world. We're a part of several organizations, the OIA, Keystone. We're very involved. Nick is actually on a committee for the OIA, and we try to really stay on top of that. And as we were approaching COVID, before we knew about COVID, everyone was warning of inflation, a hardening market. Basically, insurance prices are going to go up. COVID hit, flipped the whole world up on its head. People are starting to see their insurance go up for a number of reasons, just across the board. And inflation's reaching an all-time high. Insurance is pretty sensitive to the market. There's a lot of market volatility right now. As an agency, we try to stay on top of that stuff. And when we see that your insurance renewal is coming up and your price is going up, we're actively shopping that before we're talking to you about it. So I guess as far as COVID is concerned in general, it's changing things. It's making the price of building materials go up. So naturally, insurance is changing with that. Right. But just us on a local level here, we're just trying to stay as informed as we can to try to make the best decisions as we can to help our clients.
We've got about 45 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Where do you hope to see the Wiseman Agency go as you start toward a fifth generation?
I think that right there is the where we would want to see it, is to go to a fifth generation. Yeah. We're a family-owned business, and family means everything to us. We want to treat our customers like family, and we want to be here for the community moving forward. And we'd love nothing more than to see the next generation be able to take that over and continue to serve the community and give back in the way that generations past have, and how we would hope to in the years to come.
Mm-hmm. We talk about this internally all the time. I mean, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're just hoping to see it keep growing and pass it on to the next generation.
Fantastic. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Join us next week as we have representatives from the John G. Black Historical Center stopping by. Until then, don't forget you can listen every Sunday morning on WJEH-FM and during the 8 o'clock hour. Guys, appreciate it.
Thanks.
And listeners,
thank you.
until next time, This has been Talk of the Town. Thanks for listening.